How's it going, guys? This is your budget gamer here, coming at you with a $650 PC build. Now for this PC build, this will include a keyboard and mouse as well as a monitor, so it's basically a full build just without the OS. So for the first part, I decided to choose the AMD Athlon X4 860K running at 3.7 gigahertz, and this is a quad core processor. It runs on the FM+2 socket and has an overclocking frequency of up to 4.0 gigahertz. It also has 4 cores, which is necessary for modern gaming, and has a low wattage of 95 watts. It also comes with its own stock cooler, so you don't have to worry about a CPU cooler, but if you do plan to overclock, I suggest getting a CPU cooler. This is considered one of the best budget CPUs, as you can see over here, and a lot of people usually have a lot of nice things to say about this CPU. For the motherboard, I just decided to choose the ASRock FM2A68M DG3 plus micro APX motherboard. So this motherboard will get the job done. As you can see, it has pretty good support for memory, up to 2400 megahertz, and it also supports RAID support and has a maximum memory support of 32 gigs. It does not support SLI because usually they only have one DIMM slot for graphics cards, so you're not going to get that there. It also has onboard Ethernet and has 4 SATA 6 gigabit per second ports, so that's pretty good. That's not bad. For the memory, I decided to choose the 8 gigabyte Crucial Ballistix Sport at running at DDR3 1866 megahertz. So this is just a single stick of RAM, and it'll get the job done. Most games, only maybe GTA 5 or Witcher 3 will go up to about 6 or 7 gigs, but it can handle basically everything. Those are basically some of the most taxing games, and they can run at 8 gigs. And our motherboard has 2 slots, so you can add another one when you feel like you're running out of RAM. For the hard drive, I decided to choose the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB hard drive. Now this is almost in every single budget build because right now you can't really replace the storage space of mechanical hard drives with SSD space because SSDs are pretty expensive per dollar. So this will do you fine. I have a lot of games on my hard drive, and I only was able to use 500 gigs of my hard drive space, so I still have another 500 left over. So I think you're good for that. It runs at 7200 RPM, which means that it'll only take about a minute and a half to boot up. Sorry, I have allergies as of late, so I'm gonna sound very nasally in this video. So yeah, it's about a minute and a half to run. To start up your computer, and on top of that, it usually takes about 4 seconds for a loading screen for almost every game that I've played, except for like the bigger games such as Battlefield or The Witcher. But for the most part, like you could expect pretty fast loading times with this if you come from a console. So for the video card, I decided to choose the EVGA GeForce GTX 750 Ti 2GB video card. This is a very good bang for buck video card because it does not require a lot of power. It doesn't even require power from your power supply. It just requires power from your PCI slot, which is pretty nice. These will run your games at basically console-like settings. You could run them at 1080p. Ultra and get 30 FPS, or you can tune down the graphics and get even better settings. Most of the games will run around 40 to 50 frames a second that I've benchmarked so far, so you should be pretty good with this video card. As you can see, as the recording of this video, you can get a $20 mail-in rebate if you buy soon. It has a low TDP of 60 watts. It comes with its own fan, and it supports G-Sync. So if you were to get a G-Sync monitor, you could see your games will be screen tearing free. It also has a 1 HDMI, 1 DisplayPort, and 1 DVI port, so you're pretty good if you're coming from a budget build. So for the case, I decided to choose the Deepcool Tesseract case. This is a very, very cheap case, but I think it does not lack in features. As you can see, people have decent things to say about it. This is something that it seems to have LEDs on the front from the videos that I've seen, so I guess you're getting something there. The color scheme is black and blue. It doesn't include a power supply, but a lot of custom cases don't include power supplies, and it has support for ATX, micro ATX, and mini ATX, which is pretty impressive at this price point of $45. It does have a front panel USB ports, but the motherboard that we bought does not have that. So if you want to take advantage of a front USB 3.0 header, I suggest getting another motherboard. It should not cost too much. But yeah, this case is pretty decent for a mid tower. So I'm surprised that I managed to actually fit a decent power supply in this build. So this is the EVGA 500 watt 80 plus certified power supply. At this price range of about $40, you're not gonna find a lot of modular power supplies, so you're gonna have to deal with a little more cable clutter, but that should be fine. It has 80 plus bronze certification, it has 80 plus silver certification, which means it will pull more efficiency from the wall. So out of 100%, it might pull maybe 87%, which is very good. Essentially, it'll save you more on your power bill down the line, and plus the computer we have does not pull that much power at all, so you're pretty good for that. For the monitor, I decided to choose the Planar PLL 22-inch monitor. So this monitor is completely random. This is probably where I skipped the most money on. So if you have more money to put on a monitor, I suggest probably don't get this one. But this one was the spec wise not bad. It was the cheapest one at 1080p that had a decent response time of 5 milliseconds. It also has your regular aspect ratio of 16:9, which is good for 1080p. It is 22 inches in size, which is pretty good in terms of pixel density, so you're not going to get skipped out there. Unfortunately, it's not an IPS monitor, but I have an LED monitor myself, and it's not that bad. And I guess from this one person over here, they have okay things to say about it. It doesn't have built-in speakers, so I guess you have to buy your own speaker set. And it only has VGA or DVI, so on the video card, at least they had a DVI port. And then you would have to plug in your speakers to your computer sound, audio port. So I guess you're kind of skipping out a little there. Sometimes it's easier to have a audio port for the monitor, but I guess that's what you're skipping out on if you're gonna go the route of cheaping out on your monitor. And for the final piece of the build, I decided to choose a gaming keyboard with optical mouse bundle. So usually a lot of people have good things to say about this because it's relatively cheap at $30, but you're still getting a keyboard and a mouse. So the mouse is decent and it is a gaming mouse, but the keyboard here is not mechanical. That being said, regular membrane keyboards usually get the job done anyways. You don't really need a mechanical keyboard at this price range. In the future, if you feel like you need to, you could just toss this keyboard to the side and get a mechanical keyboard. I suggest getting black or blue, brown or blue switches for your mechanical keyboard, as they're the most popular in terms of gaming keyboards. I know it's the color scheme is red and red, so there are some CM Store Devastator kits that are blue, because I understand that the blue LEDs that are coming for your case are gonna be blue, so you probably should go that route instead of getting the red one. Yep. So this the mouse's orientation is meant for right-handed users, so if you're not right-handed, you should probably look for a ambidextrous mouse instead. Yeah, and I guess a lot of people have really good things to say about this. So the total of the build comes up to $657 at the base total. Now, if you were to take advantage of all the mail-in rebates that come with it, you're gonna get $602. So, and this has a very low TDP of 244 watts. The only compatibility check that seems to be popping up on PC Part Picker happens to be the fact that there are no USB 3.0 headers, but I already mentioned that. So the fact that you could get all of this at this price point is actually pretty good. The only thing I'm missing is the OS. So the OS, it really depends on what you want. So if you really don't want to spend another $100 on Windows 10, which I think this should be a good Windows 10 build, you could always go with Linux or Mac OS or SteamOS. SteamOS is probably the way to go if you want to cheap out. Except there still is not that many. Still not a lot of games supported on SteamOS, but I think it's steadily growing. So without further ado, that's just the end of my video. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know if you'd rather see gameplay in the background with me putting on parts. This was just a video that I threw on in literally 10 minutes because somebody requested it. Thanks for listening. This is your Budget Gamer, signing out.